Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Shack here with TGN, and welcome to my first impressions of Space Engineers. Now, Space Engineers is a cube-based sandbox game where you build space stuff. Spaceships, space stations, you can build inside asteroids. It's in early access out on Steam, just came out on Steam. It's an early build of the game, very early beta, and really reminds me of... Actually, let's load up a world while I talk here. It really reminds me of Shack Space 9.5. Of Minecraft. Back in the day when Minecraft came out, it was early beta. When I jumped in, multiplayer was just added. It had no AI enemies. All it had really was construction. Players' health, players didn't have health. They couldn't die. But even then, you could tell it's like, oh man, this game is going to be amazing once the features are installed. We spent hours and hours in multiplayer just building stuff in the broken... Actually, survival wasn't even a thing at the time. I get the exact same feeling from this game. I really do. I mean, it is fantastic. Oh, a little bit of lag started there. It really is awesome. I mean, it looks good too. There's my little astronaut that you play as. And for whatever reason, his color changes depending on which level you load up, or maybe it's just random, I'm not quite sure. I played this for quite a few hours last night, and it is crazy. So, real quick, it is a block building game. You build blocks, connect them together, and you can make stuff, random things. And then they have like the sloped blocks and whatnot, which are all rotatable. But you can build ships, and it has a physics engine. Like, that's a full ship right there in the background. And it has a real physics engine, so it'll take into account the mass of that ship. Here, let me turn on my jetpack, and we can thrust up. Now, you'll notice sound effects. There really aren't any yet. Early alpha, like I said, please keep in mind, this is not representative of the final game. You can buy this early access, $14.99 on Steam right now, and I think it's very worth it. But that whole ship right there is a solid mass. It has its own weight, and if you can see the little blue thrusters on the sides, the more thrusters you have and the more power you have, the more acceleration you'll get. The heavier the object, the longer it'll take to slow down, harder it is to turn, and you can actually walk around these. So let's start small. Let's actually get into building. So let me just drop down. Woo! You can't die yet. So my little astronaut dude could jump off the edge here, can't die. This right here is, let's go into first person, gravity generator. So in the larger ships or in space stations, which is what we're standing on right now, is a very basic, very bare bones space station. You can drop down these gravity generators, and they have it so you can walk around, and you can orient them to whatever you're, if you want to be able to walk straight up this, you can. Totally possible. These are modules they've already added to the game. They don't quite work. Like, this is a refinery module, and the point is you can mine asteroids. So in survival mode, when this game is full, you'll be able to mine asteroids, refine them, turn them into the metal plating for the blocks so you can build cool stuff. But right now, it's all free build, and you have everything automatically at your disposal. So let's go ahead and let's run over here. There's a sprint, jump, animations are nice and fluid. Compared to most of the block building games that are space oriented that are coming out right now, this is probably the crispest and cleanest looking. But let's just get into the building real fast. So you hit G to open up your build menu. Let's say we want to start a small ship. Now, right now it's showing I can build, oops, I just hit that. Yeah, when you're going to build a ship, don't touch it until you get a gyro stabilizer in there. So let's try that again. Small ship, put some plating, and it'll automatically size the plating to the ship you're building. So a small ship is going to use small armor plate. So we'll get a little bit of a base here. And what I like to do is I like to start with a cockpit. And we're going to do really bare bones ship. This game is so addicting. I've already found myself sketching when I'm not at my computer, little ships that I can make, or capital ships that I want to design. It's really that addicting. So a cockpit. To control any ship, oops, you're going to have a cockpit. So we'll just drop it over that. Oops. So it automatically sizes the cockpit to the size ship. Space stations don't move, so having a cockpit on a space station doesn't actually affect it at all. But for a fighter, as you can see, it changed to a fighter's cockpit. And there's only one to choose from right now. But I'm assuming that's going to get added to and fixed later on. But you can pretty much do almost anything with this little cockpit, because it's so small. So we're going to make like a little worker bee here. Put a few more armor plates on there, why not? Now we're going to need a generator to power everything, and a gyroscope. There's our gyroscope, to actually control how our ship rotates and functions. Gyroscope, gravity generator, we don't need on a fighter of this size, but we don't have a generator, so let's pull a generator out. There are 2 reactors, nuclear reactors, which we'll be using a small for this. Oh, they already had a reactor on there, look at that. So we'll throw on 3 reactors. Now this, how the reactors work is they actually power the blocks they're touching. So once it's touching the blocks, it'll be powering pretty much the entire ship. Which is important when I show you the damage system, because the damage system is so impressive. I mean, it really is. That's what sells this game. Put some forward thrusters on there, maybe put one at the top. And since it has a full physics engine, you actually have to put the thrusters in every direction so you have control. The more thrusters you have going a certain way, the more thrust you'll have. So like, let's say I put thrusters in the front here, and if I only had one, it would take me extra long time. This is gonna be like a butt ugly ship. But it'll take me an extra long time if I only have, say, 1 thruster. I'm missing a block here, aren't I? And let's just take one of those away. To slow down. Ah, that's a large thruster. So there, I've got... Oh, it auto-saves every 5 minutes and kind of freezes like that. So that's something that they've already said they're working on. They want it to be a very smooth transition. Let's put some thrusters facing left and right. That way we can side strafe. Are those even? They must be even. Okay. It's gonna drive me nuts, they're not even. And let's get a thruster facing straight up and straight down. And I'm gonna put this right here in front of the cockpit. Why not? Straight up. And we'll connect one to right here, and straight down. Alright, so I kind of built this a little close. So once you get close enough to an object you can use, you just hit T and boom, you're inside. V is to switch camera angles, and as you can see, I'm now in my cockpit. You can hold Alt to kind of look around, and you can see it looks really good. All 3, it actually renders your body inside. You can see you're holding the controls. I really want to see them add more cockpits to this. But for now, let's go ahead and go up a little bit. You can see my thrusters actually fire. If I want to go down, my thruster will fire in that direction. So we can land, pop out with T again, and add some landing gear real fast. Landing gear must be had. Ugliest ship ever, but it serves our purposes. X, turn your jetpack on, spacebar to go up. And there you go. We built our first ship. Fairly basic, light, kind of, I'm gonna call this my construction ship. Allow us to kind of float around a bit. And you can see it tells you your power usage, and it tells you how, stable the ship is because of the power usage and the mass of it, which makes it, this is a really light ship. It's very easy for me to maneuver. But you can see the ship here in front of me. It's huge. And this is a big one, and you can build much bigger than this. I mean, this is just the demo ship, so. Let's go ahead and land back on the space station, take this ship for a ride, and I can show off the physics engine I am so excited for. I plan on continuing coverage of this game, Space Engineers, for quite a while, because I think this is going to be super addicting. It really already is. Alright, so land. We have touchdown. Pop out. And zoom in. And you can rotate the camera around your little astronaut. Turn off the jetpack. Let's go for a walk. Oh, you can crouch. C is crouch. Shift is sprint. Basic first-person controls. X is jetpack on. What was it? V for view. There it is. All right, so look at that. That's a generator for the large ship, and that's only one of them. I think the ship has two. We'll walk around a bit, try to find the bridge, which I think is actually up there. But let's look in here. You can just see the scale of this ship. Now our objective, we're going to fly out to that ship, and I'm going to show some of the physics and the damage modeling. The damage modeling is what really gets me with this game. It's so good. There's the cockpit for the ship. Clearing moorings. Kick on the engine. Sadly, there's just no sound effects yet. I really hope they get into that. Get the sound effects working. But there we go. Kind of got the camera faced a funny angle. The side thrusters firing to kind of turn us to the right. Alright, let me bring us about. Recenter our camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to ram the enemy ship. We're going to ram the blue ship. Red versus blue. I've got 46 years of fuel. Fantastic. I think we're going to make it. Get us lined up. Like I said, there's not very many thrusters. All the good thrusters, the big ones, are in the back, so it's very hard to turn this ship. There are weapons in the game right now, but none of them are functioning, so I didn't bother building those on any of my fighters. There's not really anything to show you other than the really cool model effects. Ramming speed. So like I was saying, what's really impressive is the damage modeling. The metal on the ship will actually deform. It'll bend and move, and you can cut pieces of your ship off. You can damage the subsystems. Oh crap. Da-dun, 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 da-da-da. It's a lot less dramatic because there's no sound effects, but as you can see, there's bits flying off in the background. We've got major damage. Oh, there, I just broke a piece of it off there. Well, the first time I did this, these two ships actually became intermingled, and I had to go through one hallway in the red ship to get into the blue ship. So you can imagine playing with your buddies when multiplayer of this is out, and there's supposed to be a multiplayer. Let's go check out the damage. Playing with your buddies, and you get into a fight with a bunch of pirates, and maybe the pirates, you win, but the pirates knock out your engines, or they knock out some of your starboard thrusters, and you've actually got to go out there, kick on your jetpack, and with the resources you've got, or maybe the resources in the area from the local asteroids, fix your ship. Like, look at that. You're actually surveying the damage of your ship. I'm hoping they do kind of a crew system where you can man the turrets and whatnot. But as you can see, look at the damage. The deformed metal and the twisted metal. We actually hit their reactor and shoved it up into the plate. All the metal is carved up. We had bits that were floating off into space, and those bits actually stay in the game. It looks like they just floated off because there's nothing to stop it. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little mini-map. That's actually the direction the gravity is facing. So the gravity right now is pointing down-ish. And if you saw when I was walking around the ship here, and you can see the damage to our red ship, we actually lost this big chunk, and looks like maybe lost a thruster. But I was walking sideways because I was in the gravitational field of the other ship. Their gravity unit's still operational. We broke all these windows. So you can imagine, you know, big cutting beams when you're fighting in space that could cut ships in half, or blasters and rockets that are blowing holes and chunks out of armor, and actually designing your ship so your reactors are protected, or your gravity unit's protected so you can still walk around. It's definitely got a lot of potential, and you can see where I'm coming back from the Minecraft perspective. I don't have a health bar really. The game isn't all functional. Like the doors here don't actually do anything just yet, but they will. When ships have atmosphere systems, you know, that'll be fantastic. There's already a couple of modules, and I'll show those right now. Oh, actually, we're looking at it. The med room, the med center you could put down. This doesn't do anything because there's no player health and you can't die, but it will. Cargo storage for moving supplies when you're actually building ships and stations. That will be, let me just jump out here, turn on the jetpack. You know, when you actually have to mine resources to fix these, there's already a welding tool, but you can't use it. But I probably could weld this ship back together and, you know, fix these deformations in the hull. Enemy ships could be boarded if they're actually piloted by AI. You can board them, and there's already in the builder a automatic rifle. Again, not functional yet, but it's in there. So taking out an enemy ship by blowing a hole in the side and boarding it can totally be a thing. And right now what they have implemented, they've got steel catwalks and ramps and interior turrets for your ship to defend against boarding parties. What they have already, you can design ships that are very complicated and very, very cool. I'm kind of geeking out over this one because I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It's probably the best SandBox shipbuilding game that I've seen to date, and I've been watching quite a few of them. I've been covering a lot of games like Star Citizen and X Rebirth, which comes out next month. But it just looks cool. I can't wait to be able to board enemy ships and whatnot. So I really look forward to seeing what the community comes up with. What kind of ships could you build if you could build anything you wanted? You can see these are two different colors. They do have a coloring system, a painting system. Let's see here. Red blocks, yellow blocks, and you can color blocks that are already established. So they do have quite a few. So if you want to take, here's black blocks. You can build a TIE fighter if you wanted to. Very neat. All right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps up the basic systems of Space Engineers. I'm really looking forward to more of it. Definitely be covering it as more patches come out, because I know I'm going to be playing it. If you're excited for this title, or if you're excited for another space sim game, let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious what's out there and what you guys are interested in. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys, next time.